So I'm really pleased to be here at Women Ed, and although it's a Saturday, what a wonderful environment to be in. Beautiful school, fabulous colleagues, a really warm kind of collegiate atmosphere, which is what I think is so important and so needed in education. So really, really glad to be here and talking about all kinds of things, but also talking about EdTech today because it's a real focus today. So I thought I would share with you something that I didn't share at the main conference, but my reflections on EdTech and what it was like when I went to visit the school, first of all, that I then became head at. So I was the head teacher at the Roxham School in Hertfordshire, but when I went there it was a school in special measures. It had been in special measures for quite some time. And I remember being shown around the school when I came on interview and so on, and noticing that there was an IT suite right in the middle of the school. Didn't really kind of think anything of it, although there weren't any children sitting at the screens or what have you. Anyway, when I actually arrived at the school, having been appointed as head, I went, walked through the main kind of corridor, which is where this great big computer table was, with lots of computers all set out, screens, keyboards and so on. And I just noticed that all there was just a little green light in the corner of all of these screens. And I said to the site manager, so could you switch this on, because it would look so much better if we've got all the screens playing. And he said, oh no, that's all they do. And there weren't actually any towers, so it was just monitors and keyboards and a great big table. And the view was that the parents would be very impressed with the tech facilities when they came to look around the school, because they would see that it was right at the heart of the school. Problem being, as I say, not actually linked to anything, indeed. So we went from that situation to, at that time, we decided we were going to clear that space and reinstate the library, because the library had been dismantled altogether and some books had gone into classrooms. Many of the books were really just needed to go on a skip. And so we decided that we would have the area carpeted and replace it with a proper library. We brought the books back out of the classrooms. We've got lots of donations of books because we didn't have any money, even though we were in special measures, we didn't have any money to do anything, and created a lovely library space. And then we decided, wouldn't it be great if we could have a laptop trolley? So we invested, our friends were very generous, the Friends Association, we got a laptop trolley. And then we set up a radio station, because we wanted to have a radio station. The dining room was next to the library, it was kind of like a thoroughfare. So we went from having big table, monitors, keyboards, no tech whatsoever, to a beautiful library with lovely books, a laptop trolley that was available to go into any classrooms when needed, and then a radio station that was next to the dining room. And then when the children used to come for lunch, there would be different DJs on different days of the week who would be telling all of the news and playing music, and they had training from Capital Radio, actually. So we went from, as I say, a kind of very kind of moribund, sort of bland, fake environment, if you like, to one that became incredibly vibrant, and tech then began to be absolutely at the heart of everything that we did in school.
So it enabled agency with your students, didn't it? But it also included sort of outer agencies to come in and help the children as well. So in terms of the impact, can you tell me about the impact on the children then, using the radio station, having EdTech in the centre of their learning? What was the impact of that? The
children and the teachers really embraced the use of technology, but as a tool, as another kind of resource amongst so many other things that brought the school to life. So I wouldn't say that it was the tech that was the answer, but the tech was a really important part of a resource-rich school. So alongside buying computers, I also brought in all kinds of, actually I'd find anything I could that was exciting and interesting, including, I did bring in two great big skulls that an ex-teacher friend of mine had got. One was a skull of a horse and another one was a skull of a bull, and the bull had got a bullet hole through its head, through the skull. So things like this, do excite the imagination. But then we set up a photography club. So we bought some really high quality cameras. We had a member of staff who was very keen on photography. We then created an exhibition of photographs of quite everyday objects at sort of unusual angles that really were very, very impressive that the children had taken. We started to blog, we set up classroom blogs, we had a school Twitter account. We were using every opportunity to give the children real reasons to write. publishing their writing, creating books. So we'd use programs like Blurb, whereby you can actually, it's free software that you can use, that you go online, and that the children would, not all the time because it's expensive, but be able to create a book using their own artwork, using their own text, and then get a hardback copy coming back. So things like that just add another layer of excitement. And then the other thing that we started to do, which has really, actually many teachers will have seen the result of this, is that we decided that film would be a really excellent way of sharing the story of practice. So it's a way of, like you say, building on the student's agency, the teacher's agency, the voice about what's going on in this school that feels irresistible in terms of learning. And so this would be either staff using things like Movie Maker, or it would be children using small handheld cameras. Most latterly it was with using mobile phones. We also had a member of staff who we employed part of the week to work with our website, but also to create films, because we were so passionate about, still am passionate, about sharing the story of how do you have it all? How do you have a school where the children can't wait to learn, the teachers can't wait to come and teach, and where the standards are high? How do you enable that? So sharing that story, and tech has enabled us to do that.